you, Eliza. Good morning, everybody. It is a joy and a privilege for me to welcome you here today. Unitarian Universalist Church of Bowling Green. My name is Ryan Thomas, and I'll be your service associate today. This hour is a special one for me and for many of us. I invite you to be fully present with me and with another and with one another. I invite you to quiet your mind and your devices. We are a welcoming congregation, and since that is an easy phrase to say, what church doesn't claim it? I'll take this opportunity to offer up a reminder. The UUA runs a welcoming congregations program that is designed to help congregations commit to and work toward being radically inclusive. If you're interested in learning more about what it means, what it takes for a UU congregation to be a welcoming congregation, I encourage you to inquire afterwards or to look up Welcoming Congregation online. Suffice it to say, whoever you are, however you identify, wherever you come from, and whoever you love, you are welcome here. The Sunday services here in this congregation, like many UU congregations around the world, are different each week. We are intentionally pluralistic. We intentionally honor and seek to learn from the wide array of traditions and beliefs that we all bring to this gathering today and every week. Today, the Reverend Darrick Jackson, Director of Ministries for Lifelong Learning of the UUMA, the UU Ministers Association, will be speaking about the significance of imagination in our spiritual lives. For Unitarian Universalists, the flaming chalice is a symbol of the light of learning and the love of our community. As our congregation's chalice is lit, we invite you to light your own chalice at home. This morning our chalice will be lit by Rhonda Stanley. We light this chalice today to illuminate our way toward love. Inside the womb of this waiting time, we are bathed in sounds, floating in love, growing out of our comfort zone. We experience love, sorrow, pain, and joy. There is a numinous quickening as we await a new world, yet unborn. Please join us in singing hymn number 362, Rise Up, O Flame. Rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing, show to us beauty, vision, and joy. Rhonda will now share our opening reading, morning poem by Mary Oliver.
Good morning. Morning poem by Mary Oliver. Every morning the world is created. Under the orange sticks of the sun, the heaped ashes of the night turn into leaves again and fasten themselves to the high branches, and the ponds appear like black cloth on which are painted islands of summer lilies. If it is your nature to be happy, you will swim away along the soft trails for hours, your imagination alighting everywhere. And if your spirit carries within it the thorn that is heavier than lead, if it's all you can do to keep on trudging, there is still somewhere deep within you a beast shouting that the earth is exactly what it wanted. Each pond with its blazing lilies is a prayer heard and answered lavishly every morning. Whether or not you have ever dared to be happy, whether or not you have ever dared to pray.
Thank you, Rhonda. And we'll now sing our opening hymn, Here We Have Gathered. It's number 360 in your hymnals if you prefer to view the hymnal. Here we have gathered side by side, circle of kinship, come and step inside. May all who seek here find a kindly word. May all who speak here feel they have been heard. Sing now together this our heart's own song. Here we have gathered, called to celebrate days of our lifetime, matters small and great. We of all ages, women, children, men, infants and sages, sharing what we can. Sing now together this our heart's own song. Life has its battles, sorrows and regret, but in the shadows let us not forget. We who now gather know each other's pain. Kindness can heal us. As we give, we gain. Sing now in friendship this our heart's own song. Instead of our usual reading of one of our own congregation statements, with the special guest we have today, I decided to read an excerpt from the UUA's proposed language for Article 2, from the UUA's bylaws. Don't feel compelled to read with me. They'll be up here, but feel free to read with me if the Spirit moves you. In the Values and Covenants section, love is the enduring force that holds us together. As Unitarian Universalists in religious community, we covenant congregation to congregation and through our association to support and to assist each other in engaging our ministries. We draw from our heritages of freedom and reason, hope and courage, building on the foundation of love. I'm delighted to be able to introduce our Time for All Ages. Today we'll hear our own Anna Stanley read Dave Eggers' We Became Jaguars. And are there any? Yeah, so any kids are welcome to join us up here, and we've got some a picture book with some pictures. Come on up.
My grandmother came to visit. I had met her once before. She lived far away. Her hair was very white and very, very long. My parents went out and left us alone. My grandmother got on the carpet and growled. Let's be jaguars, she said. I made the shape of a jaguar. No, leaner, she said. I sucked in my tummy. Good, she said. Now faster, she said. I tried to look faster. Now fiercer, she said. I lifted my hands and made them claws. Good, she said. Now we go. We went into the night as jaguars. We went across the front lawn and into the woods at the end of the cul-de-sac. I had been in those woods many times, but I had never been through them. As jaguars, we went through. In the woods, we leaped into trees and scared away squirrels and birds. Don't worry, my grandmother said to them. We won't eat you. You are too small and gamey. She laughed like great thunder, and I laughed like lesser thunder, and we jaguared on. But when we came upon a rabbit, my grandmother caught it and ate it and offered me some. I didn't want to eat raw rabbit, so I said I was allergic. My grandmother rolled her jaguar eyes, and we jaguared on. After the woods, there was a high hill, and we took it like it was nothing. At the top of the hill, we saw most of the world. We did not howl because jaguars do not howl. Jaguars jaguar, so we jaguared on. Below the hill, there was a lake, and we went to it and drank from it. It looked like silver and tasted like moonlight. That's divine, my grandmother said. That's divine, I said too, because it was. Let's run across this lake, she said. Won't we fall in? I asked. Not if we're nimble, she said. So she ran nimbly, and I ran nimbly, and we bounded across like marbles on glass. On the other side of the lake, we lay down and we rested. After a few minutes, she said, let's run some more. And we ran up a ridge and over a mountain and across an ocean and kept running. We were somewhere in the Himalayas when I remembered that I had school. I should go back pretty soon, I said. My grandmother looked at me for a while through her golden jaguar eyes. If you say so, she said. We ran back quietly and fiercely and nimbly. Who knew how much school I had missed? But it was okay. My grandmother wrote me a note.
Thank you. And now we'll sing the children out with number 413, Go Now in Peace. Go now in peace, go now in peace, may the love of God surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. We'll now take a few moments for meditation, reflection, and prayer. The singing bowl will lead us into silence. After the silence, you're invited to join in the song Spirit of Life, number 123 in the gray hymnal. Words will be on the screen. It's time now to hear from our guest speaker, Reverend Darrick Jackson. You'll hear a pre-recorded message about the significance of imagination in our spiritual lives. First, a little bit about Reverend Jackson. The Reverend Darrick Jackson is a member of the executive team of the UUMA, Unitarian Universalist Ministers Association. And with the UUMA is the Director of Ministries for Lifelong Learning. He is one of the authors in the book, Centering, Navigating Race, Authenticity, and Power in the Ministry. Reverend Darrick is active in DRUUM, Drum, the UU Ministry for People of Color, and is the treasurer of Healing Moments, a ministry for caregivers of people with Alzheimer's. He is, or was, an affiliated community minister with Second Unitarian Church of Chicago. He is, or was, also co-associate director of the Chicago Playback Theater Ensemble. I say is or was because I don't know if he's still in Chicago, because currently he is pursuing his divinity of ministry in theology and the arts at the United Theological Seminary of the Twin Cities in St. Paul, Minnesota. Reverend Darrick and his husband, Dr. James Olson, live with their 2 cats, Merlin and Morgana.
For a title was Imagination, not just for children. As children, we have great imaginations. We are bubbling with imaginations, and as we get older, that we begin to less use our imaginations, and society tells us that we need to be in reality and out of imagination. And so by the time we become adults, we've lost this important part of our lives. But I think imagination is important. It's not just make-believe. It's a way of engaging the world. This is a skill that we were born with. I think there's a reason that children play. It's a tool for engaging life, being able to imagine possibilities. This is such an important thing. But as we get older, we lose that imaginative practice, and so we have to work at it again. In the book, The Last of the Really Great Wayne Doodles by Julie Andrews Edwards, the professor is asked how he built up his imagination. And he says, I had to go into training. I had to stimulate and teach my mind to become aware and open to any possibility. I was like an astronaut preparing to go to the moon. Think how long they study before they begin their journey. That's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. It takes work as adults to regain our imagination, especially if we haven't been conscious of it over time. But we can get it back if we work at it. And I think that it's important for us to engage this sense of imagination in many aspects of our lives. But today I want to focus on the spiritual. Spiritual imagination can be understood in 3 different areas. The soul, connecting to something larger than ourselves. A heart, our relationship to others. And the body, engaging the world. So we talk about the soul. We are talking about that deep place within us that helps us understand who we are and connects us with all that is in the universe. In Thomas More writes, the imagination, all those stories and parables and rituals, serves the spirit and gives image to the unnameable. And that, I like that phrase because it reminds us that all the things that we engage in, the stories and that we engage in, the rituals that we participate in, they can help us give a picture to the things that are beyond our comprehension. They are manifestations of our imagination. And I think in particular as we talk about love being the center of Unitarian Universalism, then what is love? I mean, how can we, it's not something that's really concrete that we can talk about, and yet we talk about it all the time, and we talk about many different types of love, and it's our imagination that allows us to put descriptors on love to help us capture the possibility of what it could look like or feel like or be, and help us understand it better, at least for ourselves. In 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 18, it says that because we look not at what can be seen, but at what cannot be seen. For what can be seen is temporary, but what cannot be seen is eternal. And this is reminding us that all the things that exist in physical form, it all wears down over time. Nothing lives forever. But things like love and hope and spirit, breath, life, they're eternal. We can't see them, but they manifest long beyond us. And we only understand those things because we imagine what they are like. As we talk about spirit, imagination helps us have faith. Something to ground us, particularly when times are difficult. When times are just hard to manage, faith can help us get through. But that faith can be supported by imagination, by imagining a possibility where the world is different. The imagining being in a different space where you have navigated all these trials, and it can give you that grounding to navigate through whatever you are facing. Imagination also lives in the possibilities that exist in the world. And as we imagine what could be, we are partnering with the holy, however we define that. To imagine the world, to imagine ourselves in a different way that lives up to being our best selves, of the world to be its best self. With imagination, we can be co-creators of our future, of what could be. Imagining it makes it much easier for it to happen. The second area of spiritual imagination is centered in the heart. We are beings who feel, and although we differ in our ability to access those feelings, so much of how we engage the world is through feeling. It's amazing how a word or an image can trigger a feeling within us. And if we weren't in that mental space beforehand, but all of a sudden we are there in that moment. The minister, Reverend James Love, says that everything is only imagination. That is, there is no world prior to our image of what ought to be in the world. We cannot live without dozens of mental images of things not present to the senses. Daily, black marks on a page move me to deep emotion. Just words, just images. But such images make the world. Imagination is reality. There have been so many times where I have gotten lost in a book and I can see myself in that place, and it evokes so many feelings, so many thoughts at that time. And it's just marks on a page. But they convey something to me that incites my imagination. And as I engage in that imaginative space, it also helps me become more empathetic. And we can never fully understand what someone else is feeling. We can imagine ourselves in that situation and engage our own feelings. And that allows us to have empathy for where they are. The last area of spiritual imagination is the body. And this can manifest in spiritual practice, where we engage in visualizations that take us into a particular place that can bring us calm and peace, or a sense of motivation. Or it can also be in a practice of affirmations where we are saying the words of what that we want to bring into our lives. And by repeating those words on a regular basis, we can imagine those being part of who we are. And it helps us center in that space. It also can ground our action in the world to help us move towards beloved community, a community grounded in love and peace and justice. Because to move there, we need to think it's possible. And it's hard to think it's possible if we can't imagine it ever happening. And so our imaginations gives us that vision for that beloved community. And hope. Hope that it can be realized. Hope that it can be real. Our imagination is central to that place of hope and possibility. In the play 6 Degrees of Separation, the character Paul says that, I believe that the imagination is the passport that we create to help take us into the real world. I believe that the imagination is merely another phrase for what is most uniquely us. The imagination is not our escape. On the contrary, the imagination is the place we are all trying to get to. Imagination can help us find our destination. Even when we talk about imagination as an escape, it is actually taking us into the place where we need to be in the moment, which is not the reality, but to invoke the thoughts and feelings and experience that we need at the moment. The imagination helps give us that vision for where we want to be, where the world could be. And our imagination has inspired so many people to take these thoughts and ideas and make them reality. So much of our world has been imagined by someone. Our computers, our technology, the ideas of different ways of travel, of communication, all was someone's imagination made real. My friends, I think imagination is a skill to be reclaimed. We need to reconnect to our childhood abilities and imagine once more. May we cultivate a practice of imagination, grounding our faith, strengthening our empathy, and empowering our hope. Blessed be.
Sometimes our music crew works on different songs, and we've worked on Imagine before. And of all the times that we should have prepared, Imagine this. And the message also reminds me of Martin Luther King was a student of Unitarian Universalism for a while and felt he was going to have most impact elsewhere, but his I Had a Dream speech, the relationship between imagination and moving us all forward. This congregation and the work we do is supported by the voluntary generosity of all who contribute. The offering is a sacrament of the Free Church. You're encouraged to place any donation in the plate as it comes by. or to use the QR code on the screen or via the website. We're going to have Liebestraum 3, Dreams of Love, 3 Nocturnes by Franz Liszt. Thanks, Eliza. Thank you for these gifts. May we use them wisely in the service of our congregation and our community. And we're going to have a hymn, number 360 in the hymnal, Come Sing a Song With Me. And John's going to accompany us. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love in the winter time. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love that grows in the winter time. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love that grows in the winter time. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love that grows in the winter time. Lovely, thank you. Reverend Darrick Jackson mentioned Thomas More, quoted a little bit. Our final reading today is by Thomas More, an excerpt from Care of the Soul, the Spiritual Imagination. Here is how I see the imagination playing a central role in the spiritual life. Human beings have a natural pull deep into actual life with all its complexity and challenges. It's wonderful. I call it soul. But we also have an instinct to explore and to taste the mystery of it all, and the highest, most ideal and sublime values. That is the spirit. But that mystery can't be defined or placed in a test tube. We approach it through images that bring us close and give us good hints about the elusive element we're searching for. The imagination, all those stories and parables and rituals, serves that spirit and gives image to the unnameable. To worship the image or confuse it with facts is to miss the very point of spiritual expression. To benefit from the spiritual insights of millennia, we need two powers. One, the capacity to make effective and powerful images, and two, the ability to grasp the thrust of those images and be transformed by them. To feel the presence of the unknown that they conjure up. Again, if you confuse the image with what you are seeking, you will not be in the realm of spirit at all. If you translate it into concepts or moral demands, you will have lost the necessary image. Working with imagination is a delicate business. Some people want nothing to do with religious and spiritual images. Others make too much of them by treating them as facts. Religious images are a means, not an end. They allow us to be in the presence of the great mystery of life. But to benefit from such powerful images, you have to take care not to make them into idols, interpret them too far, or get stuck on only one set of images. There's a great deal to learn about the imagination, and the best way to begin might be to read one of the sacred stories as story, and open yourself to the mysterious state of mind in which the story places you. Steep in it. Live with it. Talk about it. Make it one of your own. Thomas More. We now bid farewell to those who joined us online. We hope you found this service meaningful, and we invite you to join us again either in person or online.